Three stories are moving at the same time around Manchester United right now, and each one tells us something important about where this club is heading. A Paris Saint-Germain midfielder has just placed a Manchester United player among the 4 best midfielders on the planet. A former United player is closing the door on a return to England. And a teenage defender is being pursued by some of the biggest clubs in the country, with United right in the middle of that battle. None of these stories exist in isolation. Together, they paint a picture of a club in transition, dealing with its present, its past, and its future, all at the same time. Let us start where the conversation started this week. On Portuguese television, with a question about who the best midfielders in the world are right now. When Vitinha sat down with Canal 11 in Portugal, the question seemed straightforward enough. Name the best midfielders in the world. Give us a top 3. What followed was a moment that matters for Manchester United supporters, because the answer came from someone with direct knowledge. Vitinha has shared a dressing room and a training pitch with both Bruno Fernandez and João Neves, while on international duty with Portugal. This was not an outsider looking in. This was a teammate giving his honest assessment. And what he said carries weight, because the standing of Bruno Fernandes directly affects how United are perceived both on the pitch and in the transfer market. A captain who has recognised that the elite level of world football is a very different proposition from one who is quietly declining. The article makes clear that Fernandes has scored 105 goals and provided 101 assists in 318 matches for Manchester United since joining in 2020. Those numbers are extraordinary. But numbers alone do not always shape perception. Recognition from peers does. And that recognition just arrived from one of European football's most respected midfielders. At the same time, Scott McTominay's future is moving in a direction that has real financial consequences for Manchester United. McTominay left Old Trafford in the summer of 2024. United included a 10% sell-on clause in that deal. That clause means United stand to benefit financially if McTominay is sold again by Napoli. But if McTominay signs a new contract at Napoli, that potential financial return gets delayed indefinitely. And in the youth market, United are fighting Arsenal and Chelsea for a player who will not cost the transfer fee right now, but who could cost them the opportunity itself if they are outmaneuvered by a rival club. The stakes across all 3 of these stories are real. Let us look at each one carefully. Before we go deeper on all 3 of these stories, I want to say something quickly to anyone watching this for the first time. At United HQ View, what we do here is analysis, not headlines, not hot takes. We take the information that is actually confirmed and we break it down properly so you understand not just what happened, but why it matters. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this, stories about transfers, about player recognition, about the business decisions shaping Manchester United right now, then subscribe to this channel. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a breakdown. We are here to give you the full picture on transfers, tactics, and club decisions. And as all 3 of these stories develop over the coming weeks, you will want to be here when they do. Now let us get back into it. Let us be precise about what was said and what was not said, because that matters. Vitinha was speaking to the Portuguese television channel Canal 11. He was asked about the best midfielders in the world. He named Pedri of Barcelona at the top of his list. He described Pedri as magical. He said, and these are his words as reported in the article, that it is spectacular to see him play and that when you play against him, you understand him even better. That praise for Pedri is genuine and specific. Vitinha has faced Pedri on the pitch. This is not abstract admiration. It is the view of a player who has experienced that quality directly. Then came the question of a top 3. Vitinha said he would include João Neves and Bruno Fernandes. But he admitted he could not narrow it to 3 because he also considers himself among that group. His exact framing, as reported in the article, was that he does not have a top 3 but a top 4. He placed João Neves and Bruno Fernandes on either side of himself and Pedri. Now let us think about what this means from an analytical standpoint using only what the article tells us. Vitinha plays alongside both Fernandes and Neves for Portugal. He knows them in a competitive environment. He has trained with them and played matches with them at international level. When a player of his caliber, a starter for Paris Saint-Germain and a regular Portugal international, makes this kind of statement, it is not casual. It reflects genuine respect earned through proximity. The article also tells us about the circumstances Bruno Fernandes finds himself in right now at club level. It states clearly that Ruben Amorim had been using Fernandes in a deep role within his tactical system at Manchester United. It then tells us that Michael Carrick, who returned to Old Trafford in January as interim manager, shifted Fernandes back into an advanced attacking position. The article states that Fernandes has appeared back to his best since that change was made. This is significant context. A player who was being used in a position that did not suit him has been moved back to a role that does, and the result, according to the article, has been a return to form. Vitinha's comments landing at exactly this moment, when Fernandes is performing well again under Carrick, reinforces the picture of a captain rediscovering his best level. The article also reminds us of the raw statistics: 105 goals, 101 assists, 318 appearances, all since joining from Sporting CP in a deal initially worth £47 million in 2020. By any measure, those are the numbers of one of the most impactful signings in the Premier League era. The article describes him as widely considered the best signing of the post-Sir Alex Ferguson era at Manchester United, and now a teammate at international level has placed him in the top 4 midfielders in the world. That is where Bruno Fernandez stands right now, according to this story. Not in the conversation, in the elite group itself. This story requires careful attention to what is confirmed and what remains at the level of reporting. The article draws on information from the Italian publication Gazzetta dello Sport. It is important to note that this is a report, not an official confirmation. The article states that it has been claimed, those are the words used, that McTominay is keen to sign a new contract with Napoli. His current deal runs until the summer of 2028. The report suggests his representatives are travelling to Naples to hold talks about a possible extension. McTominay himself was quoted in the article from a previous interview with an Italian outlet called Corriere dello Sport. He said, and this is from last month according to the article, that he is extremely happy at Napoli and that as far as he is concerned, he is a Napoli player and it is all he thinks about. He also stated that his agent had not communicated with anyone regarding his future other than directly with him and the club. Those are strong words. They do not suggest a player looking for an exit. Now let us look at the confirmed facts about McTominay's time at Napoli, because they explain why this situation has developed the way it has. The article states that McTominay left Manchester United in the summer of 2024. The fee was around £25 million. Since joining Napoli, he has scored 23 goals across 70 appearances. The article also confirms that McTominay played a key role in helping Napoli win the Serie A title last season. That is a remarkable contribution. 23 goals from midfield across 70 games, combined with a league title, represents genuine impact at a major European club. It is no surprise that his name has been connected with moves back to England, or that clubs have reportedly been monitoring his situation. The article mentions that there were even rumours linking Manchester United themselves with a potential return, though it notes that speculation has quietened in recent weeks. Now, here is the financial dimension that directly concerns Manchester United. When United sold McTominay to Napoli, the article confirms that they included a 10% sell-on clause in the agreement. What that means is straightforward. If Napoli sell McTominay to another club, Manchester United receive 10% of whatever profit is generated from that sale. If McTominay signs a new contract at Napoli, that sell-on clause does not disappear. But the timeline for United to benefit from it gets pushed back. A new deal would mean Napoli are less likely to sell in the near term. It would mean United have to wait longer for any potential financial return from that clause. The article frames this clearly. It states that if McTominay signs a new deal, it would force United to wait to receive a potential financial boost. So this is not simply a transfer story. It is a business story. Manchester United built a financial mechanism into the original deal to protect their future interests. That mechanism still exists. But McTominay moving toward a new contract means the timeline for any return from it becomes uncertain. What we do not know from this article is the precise value of any future sell-on, when talks might conclude, or what the final outcome will be. Those details are not confirmed. What is confirmed is the existence of the sell-on clause, the interest McTominay has in staying, and the fact that his representatives are entering discussions with the club. That is where this story stands right now. This story is firmly in the category of reported interest rather than confirmed transfer activity. Let us be clear about that from the outset. The article cites Mike McGrath of The Telegraph as the source. McGrath is described in the article as a reliable journalist. The report states that Manchester United, Arsenal and Chelsea are involved in a battle for Fulham centre-back Samuel Amissa. His contract at Fulham expires this summer. Because Amissa's contract is running out, Fulham cannot demand a full transfer fee. The article states they will receive compensation due to the player's age. He is 18 years old. The decision about where he goes will ultimately rest with the player himself. The article also tells us that clubs from abroad have entered the picture. Juventus, Marseille and Ajax are all mentioned as having an interest. That means this is not simply a domestic battle between three English clubs. It is a broader competition involving some significant European names. Let us look at what the article tells us about Amisa himself. He is 18 years old. He came through the youth academy at Brentford. When Brentford closed their academy, he moved to Fulham in the summer of 2024. He has not yet made his senior debut for Fulham, though the article states he has been named in the matchday squad on 7 occasions this season. His most recent appearance on the bench came in a 1-0 defeat to Leeds in mid-January. In terms of his playing profile, the article describes him as a centre-half by trade who can also play on the right or left side of defence, and who can even operate as a holding midfielder. That versatility is notable. A young defender who can play multiple positions across the back line and also contribute in midfield is a flexible asset, particularly for a club building for the future. And that brings us to the broader context the article provides around Manchester United's recruitment strategy. The article states that since Ineos took control of the club's footballing operations, the recruitment team has placed greater emphasis on signing young players. It gives specific examples. Chido Obi and Aiden Heaven were both signed from Arsenal. Diego Leon was signed from Cerro Porteño last summer. A young Colombian midfielder named Christian Orozco is expected to arrive from Fortaleza CAAF later this year. The article then makes the direct link. It describes the interest in Amisa as the latest example of United focusing more closely on the youth market. So this is not a standalone story. It is consistent with a documented pattern of behaviour under the new football leadership at Old Trafford. United are not chasing Amisa in isolation. They are pursuing him as part of a deliberate, structured approach to building through young talent. Whether they succeed in this particular case is not confirmed by the article. The battle involves Arsenal, Chelsea and multiple European clubs. The player will make his own decision. All we can say with certainty is that United are in the conversation, that the journalist breaking the story is considered reliable by the article itself, and that the pursuit fits the broader recruitment philosophy now in place at the club. Taken together, these three stories reveal something important about Manchester United's current position. On the pitch, their captain is being recognised by one of European football's most respected midfielders as one of the 4 best in the world at his position. Bruno Fernandez, operating under Michael Carrick in a more advanced role, is performing at a level that has drawn genuine praise from a peer who has seen him up close. Off the pitch, a former player whose future still has financial implications for United is moving toward a commitment to another club, which will delay any potential return on the sell-on mechanism United wisely put in place when they sold him. And in the recruitment space, United are competing at the highest level for a young defender who could cost nothing in terms of a transfer fee, whose versatility makes him attractive to multiple top clubs, and whose pursuit fits a clear and deliberate strategy being implemented under Ineos. 3 stories, 3 different angles on the same club, all of them worth watching closely as they develop. Stay with United HQ View for the analysis that keeps you ahead of the story.